It's time for the Data Dive. This week, the battleground state of North Carolina. And just in time, because this morning, Chris, the AP issued a story that said, without North Carolina, Trump has no way to become president.
Right.
As if like North Carolina is the new Ohio.
Right. And if we are seeing this as a change election in terms of how the landscape looks, Ohio has a lot of blue-collar white voters. And if blue-collar white voters are shifting over to the Republican Party in a complete way, if that's really what's happening, then Ohio's not going to be a swing state anymore.
So Ohio's in the bag for Republicans?
Right now it looks like it is. Now things can change, and Hillary Clinton isn't going there, and Ohio looks very good for Trump.
Yep.
But North Carolina, mwah, I love you, North Carolina, because you are so close. But before we talk about that, let's talk about the national. What's our deal? Last week's halftime report, average of polls stood 47.4 to 43.8. So Hillary Clinton was up more last week. How is it this week? What's the answer? Ta-da! 44 to 42.4. Why is it closer, you wonder? I thought she won the debate. The answer is we don't have enough polling. There's only one poll out, so we don't know. So a week from now, we'll know whether the race has changed. So maybe you should.
That's a deep tease right
Maybe
there.
you should tune in next week. All right. Now, what about North Carolina, the Tar Heel state? Real Clear Politics average of polls says that it is tied, essentially. So how do you win in North Carolina? So when we look at North Carolina, we're talking really about all of North Carolina. There are pockets with large African-American communities. There's Appalachian North Carolina. There's all of this stuff. But we're really talking about Wake County, and we're talking about Mecklenburg County. So Wake County, of course, we know about because that's where the state capital is. And even though it's the second largest county, it happens to be the county where you get the most votes. So this is the most important one. It's one of the 20 fastest growing counties in the nation. It's the state capital. It's the Research Triangle. High median income, almost $67,000. And it is quite white, especially for a southern state, 69% white, 21% black, 10% Hispanic. And Obama won 55% in 2012. He outperformed what a Democrat ought to do in what's really the breadbasket of Republican votes. Now let's look south. Let's look at Mecklenburg. That is, of course, Charlotte and environs. This is the most populous county in North Carolina. It's had an economic slowdown after the banking boom went bust. Median income there, $56,000, $10,000 less. No bueno. 59% white, 32% black, 13% Hispanic. Much more diverse, much more African-American. And Obama won 61% in 2012. So why do we care about that? We care about those two counties. Not that the Republicans are going to win either of those counties necessarily, but they got to keep it close. They've got to get close to a tie in Wake County. And what Trump has to do is he has to hold her at a reasonable place. So let's go back and let's look. Go back. We pull up that other graphic that shows us how Romney and Obama did in North Carolina, because the Romney-Obama comparison is our chalk. This is our framework. So you see, tied with women, Romney wins clearly with men. We have white voters, overwhelmingly 68% for Romney, and then we have 96% of black voters for Obama. But this is key in a state that is young, growing, and with a lot of schools in it. 50%, 50-50, 49-50 on voters with college degrees. So let's take a look at the most recent Fox News poll for North Carolina. How are these demographic groups going? Aha! Would you have believed that it is a tie among women? You would not have believed it.
But it is.
But it is. Would you believe that Donald Trump is way up with dudes?
Yes.
Way up with dudes. Yes, you would have believed that. White voters? How about Donald Trump underperforming Mitt Romney's numbers substantially with white voters in North Carolina? And how about black voters? Hillary Clinton doing much worse with black voters than Barack Obama did. So they're sort of hanging out there. And then here's the money. Here's the payoff. Voters with college degrees, 41% for Trump, 44% for Clinton. What does that tell us? A lot of educated people, and by the way, high correlation between your education level and affluence, generally speaking, when we're looking at these numbers, they're sitting out. They're waiting. They're waiting. All of these suburbanites. When you look, I mean, if you drive through North Carolina and you're up in the Research Triangle and you drive through Charlotte, all of these subdivisions are full of voters that don't know what they want to do.
So they're just going to wait till the second debate? Third debate?
Third debate, or just stay home.
Or
maybe they stay home. I don't know.
That's really fascinating.
Did you find it fascinating?
I thought it was great. What did you think, Scott?
Well, it's also interesting. People are voting in North Carolina right now.
Yeah.
You can vote already, and that's one of the states that has early voting. And so these news events, as they hit, you know, if you get mad about taxes, you can go up and vote tomorrow. If you get mad about something that's said in debate, you can get up and vote the next day. So you don't have to wait and see if things change your mind. I think composition of the electorate here is also important. If Hillary Clinton overwhelmingly wins by you know, 90 points with African Americans. That's great, but what percentage of the electorate did they make up? That's where Obama did damage in 2012. In Ohio, for instance, he changed the electorate from what it had been previously. So composition of the electorate and enthusiasm among demographic groups, I think, is what's plaguing the Clinton campaign right now.
Let me jump in here, Dana. In the Bush years, we really always worried about North Carolina. It was a state that we just saw because of what was happening to the tobacco industry, what was happening to manufacturing, and what was happening to textiles. And it was a real triple whammy. And we really always worried that it was wobbly because how are we going to reach out to that more blue-collar, more rural voter? We knew we'd do it on values, but could we do it on our economic message, which we had trouble with? That's what's interesting about a state like North Carolina. Trump will actually have traction with those voters who have been pretty mad at the Republican Party for a long time.
You know who always reminded us of that at the White House was Jeannie Mamo.
That's right. That's exactly right.
You'd be good to know that over the last 10 years, the Latino population in this state has grown over 212%. And so we've been down there, my firm, doing work registering new Latinos. The average age of Latinos across the nation is 27. It's 2 years younger than that in North Carolina. So they did not grow up in the Clinton age. They don't really know Trump more than just what they know about online. So we've been down there, you know, doing education, doing voter registration, because Democrats know, we know that we have to have a turnout problem. We know we have to have bigger numbers. So there's been an investment made to do that piece. But let's not forget the military installments down there.
Stealing my line. Yes, exactly.
You know, I work with Vote Vets. They're a great organization. They do a ton of work down in North Carolina. And this is a key voting block. And this is a key voting block in this and the Senate race.
Fort Bragg is huge. Huge. And they also have Parris Island. The number of military voters can sway. And Obama won in 2008 with military voters, and then Romney took them back in 2012.
And they're already voting now, too.
But the Senate race is the incumbent Senator Richard Burr still winning.
And their governor.
Right. So we did a bunch of Spanish language ads down there 2 weeks ago for an organization, and we did a bunch of polling before and afterwards that I can't talk about because it's private polling. Wouldn't y'all like to know? But anyway, it was really different between the Spanish-speaking and the English-speaking Latino population.
Let's just say that
the English-speaking population looks a lot more like the regular average Joe down there than the Spanish-speaking.
But Trump's going to win the state, and Richard Burr's coming back to the Senate.
So saith the Schlatt.